Anderson, Sasha, and Julio are now settling in Mexico, but they join a newly emerging community of people who are voluntarily departing the United States. It's called Self-Deportations, and it's part of the Trump administration's strategy. Senior Trump officials have touted it often, and they've taken to the airwaves with multi-million-dollar ad campaigns and offering financial incentives, like one-way tickets to the country where they have legal status and $1,000 exit bonus once they arrive. But for Sasha and Julio, they didn't need that. It was the uncertainty of what was to come with the immigration crackdown that was enough to get them to leave. But also, Anderson, what we learned over the course of this reporting is it's not just undocumented immigrants making these decisions, but also the U.S. citizens that they are married with or have children.
Priscilla Alvarez, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Still to come in Colorado.
So there's a growing number of people self-deporting, okay? And of course, CNN, leftists, Democrats, they're all sad and angry about it. You know, I don't know why they would be mad. They're going back to their home country. Wouldn't you be happy for somebody going back to their home? You know, where they're from? Nah, of course not, because them leaving means that Democrats' power and control slips further and further away. Okay, the very people that vote for them on a consistent basis are just continuing to walk on out the door so they don't get deported themselves. Check out what Abby Phillips had to say about the entire situation.
When the Trump administration says that they're sending the worst of the worst there, why are they sending people with no criminal records?
Well, listen, first of all,
because they're here illegally, of course.
When I was in the state Senate, we had a ICE detention facility in my district. I was involved with several aspects of, you know, the different things that have to be done and the grants that were required and the upgrades they had. Every federal detention facility, every one of them, goes through these same exact stringent requirements. These people are getting 3 hots in a cot. They're not being abused or not being tortured. They're getting better conditions than I had when my team lived in Afghanistan. And so the reality is the idea that they are somehow being abused as people, having their humanity stripped from them, is a misnomer. I reject that. I haven't been to that one yet, but I've been to them before. I do not have to walk in the door to know what the requirements are for the federal.
An abomination.
According to the reality,
I talked to some of the members of Congress who went down there and looked at it.
Let me just read.
Absolutely necessary.
Look, let me say one thing. First, the Trump administration says what you're saying. But if you also listen to those rallies, he repeated ad nauseum that these were the worst of the worst, the criminals, that they had cleared out their insane asylums, which he seems to think is the same thing as asylum. Let me just read one more thing, and Phil, I promise I'll let you in, and then I'll let you haven't spoken at all. So an immigration attorney, Kate Blankenship, said she was turned away after traveling to the remote facility, waiting for hours to speak with clients, including a 15-year-old Mexican boy with no criminal charges. Her client, Arroyo's client, another attorney, is a 36-year-old Mexican man who came to the U.S. as a child, has been at the detention center since July 5th after being picked up for driving with a suspended license.
So he's 36 and he's been here since he was a child and he didn't become a legal citizen. Yeah, deport his ass. Get him on up out of here, coach. Like, what are we talking about? But of course, it's CNN and Abby Phillips, right?
Attorney Ige has been seeking the release of a client in his 50s with no criminal record and a stay of removal, meaning the government cannot legally deport him while he appeals. So many people, it seems, are there. Some of them are in a process. Some of them were out here as children and are being sort of pushed into saying, sign away my rights, send me back somewhere.
So several things. One is the self-deportation is actually, I mean, they're paying each one $1,000 and sending them with a free plane ticket. So self-deportation is really not a scary thing. But the reality is
I don't think that's the point. I think the point is, like,
that is the point.
People have lives here. Maybe some of them are trying to appeal
the left side of the table was portraying somehow that the self-deportation was somehow weighing in hard and pressing down on people. It's like saying, hey, if you'll do it this way, we'll even pay you to go. How awesome is that? Here's a free ticket and a flight home.
Hold on, Phil, but
the reality is we also voted for the numbers at the border.
Just to be honest, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but just remember, we're talking about human beings here.
We are.
Okay, some of them have families, they have jobs, they have communities.
We're also,
I get that too, but I'm just saying the way you're describing it, it's like just just get on a plane and here's $1,000. I mean, it's that we're talking about. We're not talking about.
You know, I wonder if they would advocate for criminals to just walk on the streets. Oh, yeah, I forgot they do. This is just silliness, bro. Silly. Well, they're humans. Yeah, but they committed crimes. So we send them to prison. And for the illegals that are here, we don't send them to prison. We send them back to their home country. That's the way this thing works. It's the way it always has worked. You know, it's silliness. But I want to play this video for y'all because because this is exactly why people like Abby Phillips and CNN and all these leftist Democrats are super angry. It's because more and more Democrats, their own voting base, is doing exactly what I'm about to show you. Self-deporting.
These are the main pictures from our house that we didn't want to just throw away.
Sasha Mendoza has the impossible task of packing up her family's life in Pittsburgh into a handful of suitcases.
It's really hard to tell a 4-year-old that they can't bring their toys or their stuffed animal. There's just not enough room. We can't put a stuffed animal and then have no pants. I've literally never felt anxiety the way that I have in the last few years here.
So you are saying bye to the U.S. for good?
For good, yeah. Yeah, for good.
Fearful of President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown, Sasha, her husband Julio, and their 3 kids are leaving behind the life they built together.
What are you the most excited for in Mexico?
The pool.
The pool?
And the beach.
The beach?
Julio is an undocumented immigrant from Mexico. Sasha and their 3 children are all U.S. citizens. They decided to make the move together only moments after Trump took office.
There was an executive order being signed, and that was her call for, said, like, what do you think about moving to Mexico? And I said, honestly, at this point, yeah, let's do it.
We're gonna move to Mexico.
We're gonna move to Mexico, not today.
And with that, the family began to wind down their lives, sifting through keepsakes and moving out of their home.
Say bye to the house.
Bye. Miss you.
When you were dating, did your status as being undocumented come up at all?
And then our first date, we kind of like were mentioning it without mentioning it. And at one point, he ordered a drink and he asked for extra ice. And I said, no, we don't do ice here. And he was like, That was like the only thing we could get to say.
So, by the way.
Julio crossed the U.S. southern border when he was 11 years old, and he's lived in Pittsburgh ever since.
One of his first concerns when we talked about moving is like, how am I going to watch the Steeler games?
You're a Pittsburgh native for all intents and purposes.
Oh my God, yeah.
What made Trump a second term more nerve-wracking for you, that to come to a decision that you had to leave the country?
There are no limits. There are no limits on being a target. The only main concern is like, he looks brown, he looks different, he don't speak English. He's the one. It doesn't matter.
That's where things stand.
Nah, that's a lie. Now that's a lie. That is an absolute lie. Because actually, I posted a YouTube short just the other day. I think I posted it. I have to double check that. I'll be forgetting what I posted. I post so much stuff. But if I didn't, I'll definitely try to post it today. But there's a video of ICE agents talking with a Mexican citizen, and the Mexican citizen shows ICE agents his paperwork, and the ICE agent is like, oh, sorry, have a good day, shakes his hand, and they leave. So like this whole notion that ICE is just deporting anybody and everybody, no matter what, like that's absolutely bogus. Absolutely bogus. And I have video proof of it, right? Like I said, I believe I posted that video. Actually, I can check real quick. But I'm pretty, yeah, actually I did. July 14th, so 2 days ago, I posted that video. So if you haven't seen it, definitely go and check it out. But it's not true. Absolutely bogus. And there have been white people that have been deported. Matter of fact, I posted a YouTube short of that. There's been white people. There's been Africans, black folks. There's been Asians. Every race has been deported. If you are here illegally, and in this man's case, he's been here 25 years illegally. And you never thought, hey, let me try to become a legal citizen here, Let me make my status legal. Like, come on now, bro. Nah, I don't feel bad for you, right? I really don't. I have a heart in terms of, having a heart for the kids, right? Gotta love the kids, but as a dad, as a man, like, bro, get your shit straight. Buy a toilet and a ruler and get your shit straight. Like, what are you doing? You've been here illegally 25 years. 25 years. And now you want me to have some sympathy for you? Like, nah, bro. Get to stepping. Get to stepping.
And tonight, in the case of Gilmar Abrego Garcia.
They were confronted with their worst nightmare when Gilmar Abrego Garcia was mistakenly deported to a notorious mega prison in El Salvador.
I can see myself in that, and I don't want us to wait until we're in the same situation.
There are people who will say, you came to the U.S. illegally. Why didn't you do it the right way? What do you say to people?
If you were to be put in my situation at my age to tell me do it the right way, the whole process pretty much takes about 15 to 20 years. By that time, I don't think my kids or anyone's kids who are starving or in a dangerous situation can wait 15, 20 years for you to come here and start working.
What did we say that we could get when we get there?
OPS Sonic.
No, we did not say that.
How did you approach the conversation with your kids?
They know the realistic part of it, which is that it will be very difficult for them to adapt to, especially mostly language-wise. That's like our biggest thing. They're not anywhere near fluent, and they are going to be going into a school that is Spanish-speaking. Who's that? That's you!
For Sasha, leaving the U.S. also means saying goodbye to the places she's called home.
You grew up at this house. What is it like for you to leave this house and what it represents to you?
It is definitely hard because, yeah, there's a lot of good memories. This has always been like the kind of comeback place. As far as we know, we won't be able to do that. We've kind of all decided that today is most likely the last time that we'll all be like in the same place at the same time.
Hours of research behind them, the Mendoza family spent their final days in Pittsburgh saying goodbye to family and friends.
Stay in touch, right? No? I love it too, Big Dog. Stay safe. Stay safe.
It's a decision not taken lightly, but for Julio, no other choice.
Rolling the dice will be staying here. That will be rolling the dice. Yeah. Playing with my life, playing with my kids' life, playing with my wife's life. That will be a gamble. I would say it's taking a gamble. I'm taking a certain win on this one, for sure.
You know, I love how they started playing the sad, slow music, somber music. Like, come on, bro, stop it. They will be just fine going back to their home country, or at least his. I believe she is an American citizen, at least as far as the CNN reporting goes. So who knows, right? Because it came from CNN. But he's going back to his home country, where he was originally from, where I'm sure he still has family. So I'm sure they will be just fine. You know, their daughter was talking about pools and beaches and whatnot. So I'm sure they're going to a nice place. Mexico honestly does have some beautiful places. Like, listen, make no mistake about it. A lot of Americans actually go to Mexico for vacation. So let's not sit here and act like everywhere in Mexico is good. Oh my goodness, you're sending them to a hellhole. Like, no. First off, it's where they're originally from. If you think your country is trash, then make it great, okay? And second, there's beautiful places there. So, and it sounds like they're going to a nice place. And this is the other thing. Nobody, at least on the right, is saying you can't ever come back. We're saying do it the right way. We'll welcome you with open arms. Come on back. Come on back if you do it the right way. But until then, hey, stay on over there. Stay on over there. That's just my humble opinion on it. Y'all can let me know your thoughts and your opinions on all of this in the comment section below. But yeah, Democrats aren't liking this news. Because not only are deportations getting ready to ramp up even further because they're heavily funded now, right? They're properly funded. But now there's a lot of folks who are just self-deporting and getting on up out of here. Taking that $1,000 in that free plane ticket. They gonna have some trouble in that next census. Democrats are gonna have some trouble. Boy, I tell you. But like I said, y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions. Make sure you guys hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. I would greatly appreciate it. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.